So you want to learn chess, but you've always kind of thought it was a game for super geniuses, right? Well, we're about to change all that. Forget the stereotypes. Today, we're going to break down the world's greatest game so you can sit down at a board and make that first move with total confidence.
I absolutely love this quote because it just completely shatters that big myth about chess. This game isn't about having some secret genius gene. Nope. It's about being curious and, yeah, maybe having a little bit of time. And the best part? Learning the basics is way faster than you think. And that's exactly it. Chess is this incredible mix of cold, hard science and just beautiful, boundless art. You've got the rules, yeah, they give you the structure, but what you create inside that structure, that's all you. It's a game for absolutely everyone, and trust me, anyone can learn to play.
All right, first things first. To win any battle, you've got to know your soldiers. So let's get you introduced to the pieces that are going to be fighting on your side. We're going to start with the pawn. Now, you have more of these little guys than any other piece, and it's easy to think they're, well, disposable. But don't be fooled. A great chess master once called them the very life of the game. They really are the soul of your army. Now here's the pawn's weird little secret, the thing that makes it so unique. It moves one way, but it attacks another. See, it marches straight ahead, but it captures diagonally. And get this, it can never, ever move backward. It's a one-way trip, a relentless forward march to glory. Okay, next up, and I gotta admit, this one's my personal favorite, the knight. This piece is the wild card of your army. It's tricky, it's unpredictable, and because it doesn't move in straight lines, it is an absolute master of the surprise attack. And here is its superpower, that famous L-shaped move. Two squares one way, and then one square over to the side. But the real game changer, the thing that makes the knight so special, is that it's the only piece on the board that can jump over other pieces. It can just leap right into the middle of the action. Now let's meet the bishop. I want you to think of this piece as your army's long-range specialist. It's like a sniper, controlling those long, open diagonals and striking from way across the board. Now, here's the one thing you have to remember about the bishop. It's color-bound. That means if a bishop starts on a light square, it's going to live on light squares for the entire game. And that's exactly why you get two of them. They work as a team. One controls the light square universe, the other controls the dark. All right, time to bring out the big guns. Let's talk about the rook. In the ancient versions of chess, this piece was a chariot, and you can totally see why. It's an absolute powerhouse that just barrels down the straightaways, dominating any open files on the board. The rook's move is super simple, but oh so devastating. It goes in a straight line, horizontally or vertically, for as many squares as it wants, as long as its path is clear. And when you get two of these guys working together on the board, man, that is a scary sight. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Please all rise for the queen. Let's be perfectly clear, she is the boss. The most powerful, the most versatile, the most dangerous piece on the entire chessboard. She is your ultimate weapon. So what makes her so great? Well, it's actually pretty simple. You just take the power of the rook and the power of the bishop, and you put them together in one piece. That's the queen. She can move in any straight line, horizontally, vertically, diagonally, as far as she wants. She controls more of the board than anyone, period. And finally, we meet the king. Now pay close attention to the words here. He is not the most powerful piece, not even close. But he is, without a doubt, the most important. The entire game, everything you do, revolves around keeping him safe. See, the king's kind of like a slow old man. He can only shuffle one square at a time in any direction he wants. This makes him incredibly vulnerable, and protecting him is your number one job. Because if your opponent traps your king so that he has no escape, that's it. Game over. You lose. So, how do you know if you're making a good trade? This chart is your new best friend. It gives you a general idea of how powerful each piece is. So trading your little pawn to capture their mighty queen? That's a brilliant move. But trading your queen for their pawn? Oof, that's a disaster. Keep this rough ranking in your head when you're thinking about captures. Okay, you've met your army, you know the cast of characters. Now, let's talk about the game itself. Because every single game of chess unfolds like a story, kind of like a three-act drama. So, Act 1 is the opening. This is all about getting your pieces out into the game and fighting for control of the center of the board. Act 2, the middle game. This is the main battle, the big brawl where armies clash and all the cool tactics happen. And finally, Act 3 is the end game. The board is a lot emptier now, every move is critical, and suddenly, the king often goes from being a target to being a powerful attacker himself.
So let's talk about that middle game. Imagine you're in the thick of it, the heat of the battle. How can you multiply your power? Is there a way for just one of your pieces to become a nightmare for two of your opponent's pieces all at the same time? The answer is yes, and it's called the fork. This is one of the very first and honestly one of the most powerful tactics you'll learn. You move one of your pieces, very often it's a knight, to a square where it attacks two enemy pieces at once. Your opponent is stuck. They can only save one of them, which means you get to capture the other. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, so we know the pieces, we know the flow of the game, but how does it all end? How do you actually win this thing? What is the ultimate goal? And this is maybe the single most important rule to get straight. Your mission is not just to attack the king. That's called a check, and it's basically just a warning. Your real mission, the one and only way to win the game, is to achieve checkmate. All right, lean in for this one, because this is the difference between a glorious victory and a frustrating draw. Checkmate means you win. The enemy king is being attacked, it's in check, and there is absolutely nowhere for it to escape. It's trapped. Game over. But then you have stalemate. This is a draw. This happens when your opponent has no legal moves they can make, but their king is not currently being attacked. It's a classic trap for beginners, so always be aware of it. You know, chess history is filled with these legendary battles, like a famous one called the Immoral Game from way back in 1851. And now, you know the rules, you know the pieces, you know the goal. Your own story, your own great game is just waiting to be played. So the only question left is, are you ready to make your move?